to Stock Charts Trading. Today I want to talk about trading the news. So we know if there's going to be a medical release or something's going to happen with earnings. A lot of people go in anticipation to buy and put their money to work, and then earnings go up and they make a lot of money. But there's also other factors of news, right? If you oil spill that has that news, it's a bad effect, but prices could go down or they could go up depending on if there's going to be any new oil shortages or stuff like that. So I've been seeing a lot of news articles that are a little bit uncomfortable to talk about because what if they're true? And as an investor, I want to be prepared to invest in the best things at the right time to get the biggest move on my money. I don't want my money to sit for months and months and months making 1%, 2%. Otherwise, I would just put it in a CD or something stupid like that. But no, if I could find what is going on in the world, what is the hottest thing in the US or wherever that you invest, then you will have the biggest gains by the biggest opportunities. So we have this article here. It's from Australia. It says Australia could face food shortages due to the coronavirus restrictions. And so basically because of what they did to limit the spread of coronavirus, there were some restrictions, and now they could face some shortages because less people would be at the manufacturers, less people would be harvesting the food, creating what would need to take in order for people to have a plethora of food. The next article comes from China. And so it says that the president is urging people not to waste food as concerns grow stemming from coronavirus pandemic and natural disasters. So they've had over 5.5 million hectares of croplands destroyed because of all the flooding that's happening and the dams not being able to hold back the water. India faces its worst locusts in 30 years. The locusts have destroyed over 50,000 hectares of croplands also. Next article, Canada food insecurity problem is about to get worse. This was June 30th, just 1 month ago. Russia halts wheat exports, deepening fears of global food shortages. And here in the U.S., packing plants close, rise, speculation of meat shortages, higher prices. Now, this was back in May 5, but they updated it for August 3rd. Here in the U.S., packing plant closures rise on speculation of meat shortages, higher prices. Now, this was originally put out May 5th, so I will give that. But here's my thing is, think about when you take vitamins, right? You feel better, your pee is yellow, and that vitamin lasts in your body for a week, a month after you stop taking that vitamin. Well, did we just go into the same exact thing, right? Trump's a Make America Great. Every business I know is making tons and tons of money and they're stockpiling it. And so you got all these food manufacturers stockpiling all this food, but then the supply chain stops for a month, 2 months, 3 months. And have we been eating our stored food for the last 6 months? And just now getting back to full-on production to build back up our resources. I'm not in the food industry, so I don't really know 100%. I can only use the information off of these news articles. But how does this help me as a trader? Well, let's go to the charts and look. All right, here we are on wheat. We have ZW. You can see that we have a top coming across there and we are going up. It gives us an ascending triangle. We're definitely off of our April lows when the coronavirus started and price has gone up, but not much. So for me, I would probably take a trade on wheat right around this 530 mark, duplicate my range box, and I would take my targets around this $800 mark. I know it seems extreme, but just look at the movement that wheat has had back in 2010 and look at the movement here again that it had in 2012. And then since that time, prices come down, down, down. Are we getting ready for another big move? Okay, here we are on wheat futures. As you can see, price came down off these lows, and then we had this up, right? So here's a low, here's a higher low. So where are we at right now? We can see that we're making a megaphone pattern right here, and we're at the low of the megaphone pattern right in here. So we're at a good place of support and resistance. What do we know about megaphone pattern? It's price duplication. So what could we expect? We could expect it to go from $271 all the way up into this $440 range. Okay, here we are on corn. You can see we had a huge downtrend. We've come down to this support line. You can see that we've bounced off of it a couple times, even recently, right back here in May, but price hasn't taken off until just last week. What can we expect? Well, if you bought right here around this $350, that it could go up into this $460, which would make a nice profit. But what also do we know? Range box, and it would take us all the way up into this $620 target. Here we are on LE live cattle, and you can see off of the April lows of $80, we've already gone up to $110. If we were to bust out of this range box and get higher than 110, I think we could go all the way up to this 150 level, which you see right here, we have support and resistance, right? Here we are on GF, which is feeder cattle, and you can see that we have support. We came down, had support, came back up. We made a wedge, and we have a breakout right here. There's also this very tight cup and handle. We think that price would come, bounce off of this old resistance, which makes new support before going up. What do we do with cup and handles? We do range boxes, and so that would take us up into this 190 level. If we look back to the left, we would see that we have support and resistance in there. I know what you're thinking. That's a 35% increase. And yes, food prices could go up 35% from here. I mean, let's not forget these large moves back here in just a short amount of time. But also think about the next trade. Look here, price came back down. So as soon as we feel like we've got the all thumbs up in America, in the world, with food products being manufactured on the regular, I think we buy to the upside. And then once we get the news that things have settled out, we take some of our profits and sell to the downside. Now, you know the way I like to trade. I like to use the LRC. And so as you can see here, the LRC is going up. This is GF. We just looked at it. We know it's going up. It's at the top of a cup and handle pattern. So our trend is up. Our momentum is down. We've come into the opportunity zone to buy. So for me right here at 143, I am a buyer. And where would my target be? Well, it'd be up here at around 155. Okay, here we are on HE. You can see that we made a double bottom right here and here. And now we have this little pennant formation getting ready to break out. And last time we had a pennant formation at the bottom where it got ready to break out. Right here, it came all the way up into this $100 range. So for me, I definitely anticipate that we should go back up to these highs of $100. The other thing that we can do to confirm is take these up runs and average them out to give us a calculation of how much this stock likes to move. This one is 65%. Here we are at 50%. Again, over 60%. This one doesn't seem that big, but because it's coming off the lows, it's 75%. This one's a whopping 125%, and this one is 90%. So if we average all that out, it gives us about a 75% increase, which comes right into these $100 highs. Just look right here at Seed, SEED. It's gone up over 400% since April. So what do we have? We have a leg one up, which made a higher high. Now price is falling back off into a leg two. Old resistance makes new support. If we were to use any of these lines using this as resistance, we would have new support right in here, which is a buy signal at the bottom of leg two. So what should we expect? Well, we would duplicate the range box and take it up into this $26 level, which you can see is resistance back here. That's a 200% profit off a $9 stock. And I just want you to think about the concept of food harvesting, how long it takes. I mean, think about it. If you have a baby cow, right? How long does it take to feed it out so that it gets big enough so that you can harvest it? Or think about how long it takes corn, or think about what season we're coming into. We're coming into harvest season right now, but then you have winter, and so you can't grow more corn for 6 months. And that's why companies like Beyond Meat make sense, right? They had this huge up run on their IPO, but then what? They fell off 80%. And that's why I'm telling you the IPO system works. Scroll around on our YouTube page and you'll see IPO Masterclass. Where did it come to? right here at support. So how am I looking at this trade now? Well, I see a leg 1, I see a leg 2 pullback going into leg 3. My first target would be back up into these highs of 240. My second target would duplicate this range box and take it all the way up into 440. I know it seems a little bit aggressive, but what if some of these news articles are true? Where do you think people are going to turn? Now, here's the thing about Beyond Meat even. They need corn and they need soy and they need wheat. They need all of the futures that we just talked about. So maybe, I don't know if there was a food shortage that Beyond Meat would go up 100%. I can't guarantee these trades. I can only talk about what I see in the market based off technical analysis. And I can only talk about what I see in news articles based off of what would people think about. How quick do the supermarkets clear out when there's a hurricane coming through? Have you ever heard of price gouging, right? They take a loaf of bread or some water and it's up 10-20 times because of supply and demand. I don't know what the future holds. Again, I am not in the food industry. I'm only going by the news that I'm reading. So if you like these trades, put some of your capital to work. If you don't like them, tell me in the comments below. Until next time.